Hey guys. Alright, sometimes you just need to take a break to discover when you're doing something stupid. This is all nonsense. Like, the solution is WASM is Unix. I don't know why I didn't think about that immediately. Done. Like, what was I? Why did this take? Why did I need a break to figure this out? It's ridiculous. Hey Patrick, like this should work. I don't know. Right? I mean, duh. Okay. Couldn't reserve as event node event message. What? What did I break just now? Oh, I forgot to recompile, I think. Couldn't reserve begin message. What? What did I break? Should by default target the target workspace. Okay, that's two things actually. So that's number one. The next one is this one. And then we'll see what I messed up. Okay, and now let's check. What did I mess up? All of this should go away. Oh, man. I'm too tired today. It's not a good day. I was just running JIT, and this is just the message if there's no tracer running and you're doing the, like, it compiles just fine. It's just whatever message you're trying to send, you get this because it can't use the memory channel. Should have seen it. Let me guess, I also compiled the wrong one. Awesome. Why are we stalling? I know why, but today is not my day. Okay. Not my day. But we just ran a WASM. Except that I don't see anything. So that's not good. And we didn't get any error. That's weird. That is weird, isn't it? Like this one does nothing, obviously. Oh no, of course we don't see anything. Why did it stall? Because we had undeclared identifiers in preload, and the compiler assumes that preload compiles fine. There's special handling. There's a special preload phase, and there are some special conditions. If you're still in the preload phase, certain things don't happen. One of them is the stall check doesn't happen because usually you don't stall in preload. This is technically a bug in the compiler. It's just something that usually doesn't happen because preload is something you don't touch. We can add a repro for this, but it's, yeah. So that's the only thing that happened. We could fix this. I'm not gonna go down there. Like I'm already tired enough and can't keep my focus well enough, so I'm not gonna now also switch contexts too much. Yeah, so why don't we see anything? Because there's WASM write and WASM debug break, but these are not used at all. So it's the Krampus CPU. Don't you know it, Hukutos? It's the one that runs Krampus operating system. Anyways, so why don't we see anything? Because we don't shim anything at all. And why does it not crash? Well, in runtime support, we have this here. So write string unsynchronized, if we don't change anything, just does nothing. So that's why we don't see anything. So the next step is to go in here and shim write string unsynchronized. And I want a good way to provide all the shims. I don't know what that good way is right now. Like if I think that this is supposed to be a general purpose WASM metaprogramming plugin, then I need a way to provide it all the shims. Like how does it know which functions to replace, etc., etc. I mean, write string unsynchronized, we could just say that's something we always need to shim, but in the general case, I don't know yet how we want to do that from a generic metaprogramming plugin. First of all, let's get rid of this crap. Then second, let's take our progress. Oh, we don't have a proper git ignore for Mac. It actually has it. Why do I see that? How is, like, it explicitly lists it. What is going on? Oh, because you have these checked in for some reason. Because you added the git ignore too late. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Patrick. Yeah. So let's do. What's the next beta? 7.7. I don't think I want that in the library in the. I wouldn't check that in, honestly. Oh, and yeah, and we have crap in here. Like this was just for illustration purposes. No, like if you want to keep it, whatever. But I would be annoyed if, like, I generally don't check in my binaries. And in this case, like, if people want to try it, like, they don't know how the contents of, I don't know. If you don't compile it yourself, it's just a random WASM file. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure if it serves much purpose. But that's just my opinion. Like, whatever. Okay, so let's do some shimming. So how do we want to set this up? In no phase we don't care about. Case type checked. For type checked, I don't remember the structure. Oh, let's close stuff. Okay, compiler.jai. So for all bodies, I guess. And it's a type checked, and those are, yeah, expression. And now we should have a list of things to replace, similar to what Kuyu had. How do we find the ones we want and the ones we replace? How do I want, as a user of this plugin, more or less? Let's leave it open whether you can run it just by plug or whether it's something you put into your meta program. I want to give you a code, like one of these, for everything that you need to replace, or a string or something. But how do I declare what should be replaced? If I just give you names of procedures, it's not good enough. We should replace parts of the procedure, not the whole procedure. No, I'm thinking about, hey, here's a procedure that doesn't run on WASM. Let's replace it with blah. Like, for example, here I would just replace write string unsynchronized. Like, the whole body can be replaced. I mean, we could say, since we now know about WASM, we could say if WAS is WASM, I'm not sure what. Come on. Good question. Do we declare these as call, or what do we do here? How do you normally shim that stuff? Do you have examples for that somewhere? Foreign WASM malloc. Yeah, you declare them as foreign. Yeah, okay, good. So the question was, if we're here, like, do we do that? Do we just say you have to have a library WASM, and we just use that here? Or because, like, hey, we say we have an OS WASM, maybe runtime support should give you a support for OS WASM. Good to make an exception to compiler that if libraries WASM symbols aren't checked. So automatically default to lazy, you mean you mean this one should be true by default? Yeah, I don't know. Since you need to set up everything else, I'm not sure if I would put that special case in the compiler. I'm not sure. Maybe not. I don't know. Since you can do it from userland, I'm hesitant to put it into the compiler. Yeah, okay, if we say WASM, but then this should be a special, then this should be a special magic library. Where we say if the OS is WASM, then WASM is a special case. Also feels a bit yucky, honestly, but yeah, maybe that's what you just have to do. Give me 1 second. So yeah, maybe we want to have a special, declare a special library. You can say no DLL, and that prevents us from checking as well. Maybe that would be the right thing to do. Let's not do that, and just mark it as no DLL. So this is basically a turning off the what do you call it? The identifier lookup, not identifier lookup, the symbol lookup. We could have, instead of having no DLL, we could have a no symbol check to be more explicit, but I think no DLL has the same effect. Because I don't think we look into static libraries to check the symbols. I think we only check it for DLLs. Anyways, so we could do this. And that's good, maybe. And I called it WASM write string, so we should make sure that this exists actually, which means in runtime. Let's just give it the same names. How does this one know about string though? What did you put in? How do things get marshaled over the? Not at all, right? How do I declare that this is a struct with two fields? How does the interrupt work? Do you know, Patrick? What's the... If I know that this is in the binary land, this is now at least 16-byte structure. LVM automatically converts string to 2 arguments. Really? That sounds surprising, to say the least. Let me check. How did you... so yours was called... I didn't save this one. Yours was just called WASM write. How did you use WASM write in here? You just pass in a string and it... How does this automatically get desugared? Oh, yeah, that's not LVM. No. We declare this as a C. This is just... Okay. We declare this as being the C calling convention. Like, we say WASM write, wherever you declared this in here. Yeah. Here you say foreign. Foreign implies C call. So we pass string to WASM write based on a C calling convention. The C calling convention is different per operating system. Oh no, not the C calling convention. Not quite. No, that's not quite true. But yes. Wait. This has been ABI. Give me a second. C++ is different. C is different as well, of course. Yeah. So it depends. Now we're in trouble. So this gets not desugared, but this gets passed. This is a struct. It's a 16-byte struct. This gets passed to WASM write. However, 16-byte structs get passed to functions. And that depends on the C calling convention for your platform. Well, before our changes, your platform would have meant if you compile this on Windows, you get the Windows C ABI. If you do this on macOS, you get the System 5 C ABI. That would be god awful for interop. So now we introduce the WASM operating system. We would have to check what our ABI code in the LVM backends, things like, I assume we have if Windows and else. So now you would get this based on the System 5 ABI. System 5 ABI says a 16-byte struct is going to be passed in 8-byte chunks depending on the content of that struct. So you will get the count and then the data pointer in this case. But in the general case, if you pass any structs across these boundaries, you're going to be sad. Because the System 5 ABI is nothing that's going to be fun to... like, don't get me wrong, the Windows ABI isn't any better, but implementing either of these ABIs in JavaScript is not going to be fun. Really not going to be fun. So you have to be super careful when passing arguments between WASM and Jai. And no, just structs. I was thinking about, oh my god, what happens when things are passed on a stack? But this is something that LVM will handle for you. That's fine. What's not fine if you pass structs by value over that boundary, you better know the System 5 ABI. At least now you get consistent behavior. Before you would get, like, the signature of this function would have to be different depending on whether you compiled the WASM file on Windows or on Linux, which would be way worse. Oh, you pass it in the other way around. Okay. Well, whatever rocks your boat. Oh, there's no if in here. Else OS. Yep, that was because I was thinking about shimming and then didn't complete it. Header is not a member of type check. That's correct. Header is body expression header. What else? Library WASM, no such file. Yes, and this is where Wallock. So here we're gonna do the same fun where we say this is library, no DLL. See, and now you don't need where is it? Lazy foreign function lookups. If you just flag the WASM library as no DLL, we're just not gonna check symbols for this particular one. So we don't need any special hacks in the compiler for this, and you don't need to disable all foreign function lookups. Okay, let's see if that worked. No, error is not defined. Oh, what? Oh, this is too standard error. Yeah, sure. That was my renaming. Error. If I see if I see something called error, it doesn't look like a boolean to me. This normally is the error argument, especially in JavaScript. I wouldn't call it error, because error is usually from a callback, the actual error. And I don't like this, just because I don't like double negations. That's just me. But since I have the code in my hand, my rules, ta-da! Count is not defined. Also correct. Why does this return count? Is this the bye? I should not have recompiled this. We get garbage. That's awesome. Count and data. Why are they in the wrong order? Uh-oh. This is no good. Now I need to learn WASM, huh? We have one 64-bit argument here. But string is 16 bytes. What is which notepad called? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Do I misremember the ABI? Or do we have okay, it could be that it's the other way around and we're now trying to pass stuff in Windows ABI. Because in this case, everything will be on the... But I assume, Patrick, you tried this on Windows, right? Or did you try it on Linux? Or macOS? You know what, before I just guess... You're a Mac user. Okay, so we just broke this because this looks to me like we're using the Windows ABI. Because we just get a pointer. We just get an address. And that's the case on Windows if you pass anything that's not 1, 2, 4, or 8 bytes. If you pass a struct that's not 1, 2, 4, or 8 bytes big, it's going to be passed on the stack, and you give the address on the stack to the function. So my assumption is, like, if I'm right, do I have access to the global memory here somehow? I think you saved it, right? Yes. So let's check if I'm right. Where's allocated? Is a memory of 4. 4 is not much. We have a huge buffer. How do I get data from that? If I have that address, I want to see 16 bytes starting from that address. Let's see. Just to prove, like, what's the API of array buffer? Can I say give me what's the slice? So if I say slice it's allocated slice undefined. Wait, did I just misread this? Slice. Oh no, it's allocated buffer, right? Slice from 14200n no, okay, good. Then we say, so I want, where are we? Damn it. Here we are. So we want 1420016n. Okay, then not big int, whatever. So this is 16 bytes. Can I see them, please? How do I hate jumping between languages. I mean, I guess I can do this. No array access. No array access. How do you get something from an array buffer? Nope. How about not showing me how to create it, but how to use it? So supposedly you can access by bytewise, but why did it show undefined then when I tried it? How about this? Undefined. What's the size of this one? But we're well within the bounds. Really? Hey, that was cumbersome. And we get 11 and then some bytes. So I assume the string we just wrote is 11 bytes big. 11 characters big, and this is the data pointer, by the way. So then we would have to turn this. You see, that's what I mean with it's not fun to implement the ABI in JavaScript. So instead, we're gonna change this. We always say target is system 5, and basically this needs to be expanded massively, and then we're probably gonna what shall we do about this? Shall we treat WASM as a system 5? It makes it more complicated to handle the ABI. So first of all, let's replicate how do we do this? Let's just copy this one. So let's take it verbatim. So we say target is macOS or Linux or PS5 or iOS or so these are all system 5 OSs. Well, yeah, I assume Android is system 5. I actually don't know. But I think, what's the underlying thing? Like, Android is Linux based, isn't it? Or is it not? I used to know this, but since it hasn't been relevant for my life for over a decade, I forgot. Okay, now the big question is, do we treat WASM as system 5? If we don't, then pretty much almost everything we pass, any struct you're going to pass over the boundary is going to be, like, almost everything is going to be passed by pointer to stack memory. In the short term, we can just do the following. We can say s count as data, and we're good. Okay, just don't pass. Don't pass the string as a struct. Under x86 is system 5. Okay. So Android is going to be way more complicated. That's the short form. Oh, and also that's going to be the same problem is gonna hit us when we compile. So I thought it's gonna be easy to now create. Wait a second. So if ARM, what ABI does macOS or iOS conform to if they're ARM? Do they use System 5 or something else? Like, it looks like they're using System 5 because we were just... Or did we just get lucky? Oh, we only passed a number. Ha! Okay, something I need to test. iOS library. Like, we made our life easy by saying... options, OS, target. We didn't change the OS target. Okay, so we didn't change the OS target, so we got the System 5 ABI. As soon as I do this, things are gonna break unless I recompile, because over here we just said target is System 5. This did not include iOS up until 5 minutes ago. So if we do this, we would compile everything for Windows ABI, which is probably not true. Like for integers, it doesn't matter, but let's try it by passing. Let's do this. Okay. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Let's recompile so that we still use System 5. So now we should treat iOS as System 5, which might be right, but actually I don't know. So if we go here and we say iOS, oh, now these all fail. Yeah, yay. Run support crash handler. I don't know if this is actually true. Unsupported platform. What? Oh yeah. You know what? Let's not do this. Let's just disable it for macOS. For iOS for now. Let's not go down that rabbit hole too far. So we're gonna say, I'm gonna look at this one. Backtrace on crash is the one we need to disable. Same problem we had before. Déjà vu. Oh, yeah, I guess we need to recompile. Okay, so we have this. This is gonna crash and burn. So now let's assemble a string in here. Where did we put it? Into view controller? We put it into view controller. Which order did we pass it? String first. That's extra evil. Yeah, why not? By value, because we hate our lives. And of course, this is the wrong way around. Now I'm switching between too many languages. S.data. So S count is strlen C string. S data is C string. And then we pass that. Oh, we should have done this as MM, then we don't have to do that nonsense. Has target WASM balloon into target anything? Kinda, like, it's not just WASM, like we want to support ARM as well. So I'm just trying to make sure that we don't do something that's too specific to WASM right now, because we generally just want to support, make it easier to target non-x64. And by trying both WASM and iOS, if both of them work, we can't be too specific. You know what I mean? Like an N of 1, if you get an N of 1 working, that usually doesn't mean much. But if we can target both iOS and WASM, then we probably found all the, like, or most of the whoopsies. Okay. Let me do a tiny change here. Not that we will get the right thing, but okay. It compiles instantly and then you wait for the simulator for free. That just worked. Okay, so iOS is System 5. That's what we know now. And to show you what I mean, just for fun, like I'm just fiddling around. I'm just having fun a bit. Where's converter help? If we don't treat iOS as System 5, and recompile this. By the way, it's pretty awesome that we can now target System 5. Not System 5, iOS. That makes me happier than WASM. So let's step into that. Because I'm not gonna run it because it's just gonna crash, but our S seems weird, huh? Yeah, so now this is just broken and number will be broken as well. Yep. Because now we're passing it as Windows ABI, and the Windows ABI will say this is supposed to be an address, but it's not an address. So I'm a bit surprised. Whatever. Let's just undo this. Okay, so what do we do about WASM? Like, what kind of ABI shall we use to talk to WASM? That's the question. Is this where we get generic ARC64 support? Maybe. Probably not, but maybe add Android there as well. That's what Patrick said. Don't we have Android is there? Android is there. Where should I add Android? What do you mean? The extensions. Okay. Yeah, why not? Where was this? DLLX. Is Android, what is it on Android? Is it Linux? I guess. Yeah. Okay. So at least we don't crash. I'm not sure if we create the right thing, but at least we don't crash. Okay, what do we do about WASM? You're probably gonna have more fun implementing the Windows ABI because it's simpler. But generally you should probably avoid passing any structs over the boundary by value. So I'm gonna say right now, WASM is not System 5, which means you will get the Windows ABI. It is much simpler. Can we use Jai ABI? No. Because the Jai ABI is not specified, so I'm not sure if you would get anything that would make sense on the other side. Like, it's not it might change from beta to beta, honestly. So that's number one. And number two, our LVM backend doesn't speak Jai ABI. Well, we could special cases, but since like it's gonna be a mess to implement in any, like, no matter what ABI we pick, so I think you just stick to not passing structs by value. I recommend that, really, for now. Okay, shall we get the bug break going as well? Is debugger present? Don't we always have debugger in WASM? I don't know. I'm just gonna try this. Nah, I actually don't know. For now, it's going to be System 5 for Windows, yeah, and it's going to be Windows right now. WASM has an ABI, okay. Is this a test? Why is this, which of these statements is true? Cloud ABI. When I hear that, I get. I'm not rested enough to think about that. I love that everyone does their own thing. Like Rust adopts WASM, Go uses GoJS. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna bother with it right now. Like, just assume that you don't pass structs by value and you're happy. Like, just don't. Okay, so what I wanted to try is debug break. So we go, where's this? There. And just put the debug break here and try to compile that. Nope, not iOS. Try to run it. Oh, I forgot we wanted to do this. Unreachable. What? How did we hit this one? Okay, let's get rid of that one. Let's try first to get the console logging working because I didn't try that one. Count data to standard error, no. Hello, Jai. Numbers. Ta-da. Build a result. Entry 0 till something. Yep. So, okay, this works now. Good. What's going to happen when I pass the struct by value? You're going to get the Windows ABI by now, which means if the struct is 1, 2, 4, or 8 bytes big, it's going to be passed as an integer. Like the content is going to be passed in a 64-bit integer. If it's any bigger, the content is going to be put on the stack, and you will get an address to where it is on the stack in the argument. That's the System 5. That's the Windows API. So you either get the data in the first argument, and then you have to like know how to cast that to your struct, or you're gonna have a pointer to memory on the stack. Yes, you can make a JavaScript function for that. But if you say, what's the ABI? Look it up. Like Windows x64. This is... Nope. Yes. This is where you learn about the Windows API. And here you have structs and unions of size blah 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 bits, which is what I said, 1, 2, 4, or 8 bytes are passed if they were integers of the same size. Other sizes are passed as a pointer to memory allocated by the caller. Generate JavaScript bindings from type procedures. Yes, you could do that. I think. The same way. So I think we share this. There is something like generate C header. This generates a C header from Jai information. It's not complete or something, but I'm using this in the DLL tests. Let me show you. And the result looks something like this. This generates, like this is a test where we have just a dynamic library that has a bunch of stuff in it. There you have large struct, for example. And we generate a C header that you can use to interact with that Jai library. So all the, you can see log level, etc. All the enums, all the structs, temporary storage, everything gets transcribed to C. You could do the same thing. You could do the same thing as generate, or is it generate C header? I think we shipped that. You could do the same thing to not, like, just look at that. And instead of generating C code, you could generate JavaScript code or whatever you want. And what this does, just to be super explicit, this generates C header, you give it the messages from the compiling, and it just, the things it sees, it then puts into the header, like the exported procedures. It looks for exported procedures. If you look here, where is this? Yeah, it looks for all function declarations, and if something is marked as export, it puts it into a list, okay? And it keeps track of certain built-in structs that it needs that come from preload. And then when you say generate header, it just takes all the exported procedures, looks at all the types in the exported procedures, and generates all the types that are referenced from there. Like builds a tree basically of all the structs that are referenced, and then outputs all the structs, and then outputs all the exported procedures. This is what this one does. You could do something similar by looking for all procedure headers that are WASM, which is basically anything that gives you anything that Jai is gonna call, and then look at those headers, see which structs walk over the wire, and generate Jai code, generate JavaScript for it. That's something that's definitely doable. And you can look at this generate C header.jai that we ship. Like, it's not perfect. This is just does a rough job, but I think it's good enough to get started. Any questions about that? Are people like knowing what we're talking about? And this would be generated live at compile time. This is why you just feed it. You just feed it the messages, and then it knows what to generate. So if your types in Jai change, you can automatically get the updated, like in this case C header, but in your case JavaScript files or whatever. Yeah. So then you would, like, your runtime JS would look like this one would say, I don't know, you say string or stir, and then you just say JS stir is Jai on Marshall stir or something. I don't know. Something like that. I don't know. I can't see anything. Not sure what you're talking. Not sure what you're saying. You mean is 60 is a lot or 16 is not a lot? 60 is not a lot. Like, normally this looks like this for me. This is my stream friendly version. Font is very small. No, your screen is very small. Okay, progress. Let's have WASM debug break. Let's sync that up. So why did debug break just trigger unreachable? No, I mean, I get it. The screen is kind of small, but this is like, it's a trade-off. I'm not just streaming to stream. I'm streaming to show my work, but also I need to get work done. Like if I make the font size this, like I'm gonna go crazy. This is a 5K monitor. Like this, I now have characters that are this big. That's ridiculous. I'm not 80 yet, so I'll have to find a trade-off. A compromise, I mean. We have to find a compromise. Okay, so what we are doing here is... Oh! We just say LVM trap here. And I guess LVM trap compiles to unreachable in WASM. Well, oops. I guess that's the right thing. Otherwise, LVM wouldn't do it, right? Count is not defined. Oh yeah, I know I saved that by accident. Okay, unreachable. So debug break is not very useful. Panic due to runtime call of compile time procedure. That's something else. So if compile time, this will be false. I can't read WASM. I haven't looked at the spec. I can just try to infer what it does. This is just what we get here. So I assume that LVM trap compiles to unreachable, which is not perfect, honestly. So do we have the WASM crap here already? No. Ta-da! Yeah, this is fine. What else do we need, Patrick? What else do we need? We have defined the ABI. We have an easy mechanism of declaring that something is in WASM. Vim is so bad. Do you see this? It's somehow it's not painting. It's just not painting correctly. This was a paint bug that lines were moving around when I entered. Okay, so I'm not sure if we're gonna ship this. Zoning likes Jai. Yeah, that's good to hear. Patrick, if you're still here, let me know if there's anything that you still think is necessary. Yeah, I believe you that focus is better than Vim. Ian, since you're here, would you be open to guiding me through to like guiding me when I try focus? Like let's switch to focus stream some point where you just hop on live and just guide me through how we don't have to do it on stream, but maybe it's interesting on stream. We can also do it offline. But since you're Mr. Hocus Focus, I guess now you're Mr. Hocus Locus. But since you know Focus, would you be interested in just guiding me through like how to set it up so the frustration to keep the frustration low so that I can actually switch over, because I'm frustrated by Vim. Yeah, maybe it's interesting to just try to switch to Focus at some point. Let's do a switch to Focus stream or something. Yeah, Patrick, if you think if you can think of anything that we still need to do to make the WASM experience more useful, yeah, let me know. I'm gonna get another coffee or something, and if guys have any questions about anything we talked about, or I don't know what we did for WASM or whatever, put them in chat. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. All right. So Ian says he's used to his fork more than the main one. Yeah, why did you fork it? What did you change? Supposed to be a big update to main soon. Probably wait for that. Sure. What is soon? Is this like a week? A month? Right, WASM, have you wrapped all the ASM blocks in the child code base with x64? Not all of them, but the critical ones, like everything in runtime support and preload and basic and I think everything in basic. And atomic, probably not. Like some of them, let's say some of them. But you can now, like without any fancy modifications, you can do this. You can have a debugger, you can have printy stuff, and this compiles without any. Like we use Patrick's plugin, which looks like this, but it doesn't do anything crazy anymore. Like we don't strip out all the ASM blocks. We only replace the default allocator, and that's pretty much it. Valve soon? Oh no, Ileonte, that's not a good sign. It's maybe better than Jai soon, but not significantly. Are we at, by the way, is Jai at Duke Nukem Forever time yet, or can't remember? Okay, so the question is, let's bundle this up. Let's give this a nice, like, I'm really tired. I didn't sleep well for the past 2 days, so let's wrap this up, kinda. Duke was 13 years, okay, so we still have some time. The question is, do we ship some of the things we just did? Do we ship the changes to preload and runtime supported that reference a WASM library? And give this, like, we basically defined the basic WASM ABI for write string and debug break that now people who use the WASM need to implement. Question number one, and are we fine with that? Miegakura is fighting Duke Nukem for the title. Yeah, I think so. I think it has already won. Like, it's more than 13 years, I think. So the question is, do we ship those two? If we do that, should we ship an example that shows you how to implement them? If we do that, does that mean we should ship the WASM plugin as it stands right now? By the way, I'm surprised this worked out of the box without me turning on WASM 64 or something. I think this is an experimental. Maybe I turned it on at some point. How do you turn on? Is it this? No. Or is it system? No. Like, where do we find the experimental stuff? Flags? Maybe I turned it on at some point. There is no WASM flag. Has this entered mainline? It was enabled? Did I not see it? Experimental WebAssembly. So this is why we can use WASM 64. If I disable this, are we sad now? Invert memory limit flags. Sad. I'm not working on a game at all, Taha, but welcome to the channel. Sag. So we only support WASM 64. We could try WASM 32, but it's not gonna work. You can ship the address space shrinker binary. You mean this one? That's already shipped. You mean the one by Soding a while ago? Yeah, that's not gonna work. We're gonna try it, but it's not gonna work. Last time I tried it, it didn't work. Yep. So this kind of stuff happens if I try it. So I don't know. It looks to me like we have fundamental issues with that. Which is kind of a shame because it means you can't actually ship anything in WASM, but because no one's gonna have that experimental flag turned on, so it feels like a bit of a failure. But supporting WASM 32 out of the box sounds like it's not gonna happen. So what do we do about that? I don't know how Soding used that like what he did to make this work, because even trivial cases don't work for me, and I haven't investigated like what would be necessary, but it seems like hard because you basically have to take all the integers and cast them down if you pass them to well, lots of things. He didn't use any allocator. Okay. I mean, these are all because we're passing 64-bit numbers to memcopy, etc. And memset. Like this must be memset, this must be memcopy. So wait a second. If you do this and say assert So this will crash if you want more than that. Mem copy again. Oh, now we have the trouble that we don't have that from source. Yeah, not every integer, but every integer that crosses a certain barrier needs to be downcast. And like, I'm not sure, not like load and store are not the problem, I think. I think the problem are calls to intrinsics that are mapped to, like, you can see here that it's memory fill and memory copy. So I would assume this is mem copy and mem set that's causing trouble. It doesn't help if we use 32-bit sizes though, because we're gonna upcast it. We're gonna cast it to the 64-bit sizes before we pass it to LVM. We can see if these changes, just using 32-bit values here and here, but this one won't help. How did you compile WLOC, Patrick? You said it in chat some time ago, but I haven't looked at the details. Again, one more reason why this should probably be in the repo. Yeah, I can't find this in chat again. So while we made some progress, there's still nothing shippable here. As long as we can't use WASM 32, which is sad. I mean, we got iOS support working, which is nice. Like most of the things we did enabled iOS as well as WASM 64. So we got iOS basically for free. Okay, let's just try. What happens if I now do this one? If we compile this with the 32-bit hack from Zoding. Is it better? Nothing changed. Nothing changed. It's literally completely the same. Yeah. Yeah, 3 billion devices. 2.9 billion of which are in landfills, I hope. So we'd have to see where these instructions come from. Is it loads and stores? It can't be any load or store, because if it was any load or store, I think we would see more for this program. It does too much for just having like this handful of load and store. So I think it's more mem set and mem copy and mem set mostly. So yeah, you compiled it for WASM 64 as well. if we look at this Valog, do I still have it open? How does it define its... what it's doing? Built-in WASM memory size. Okay. Built-in WASM memory grow. I'm a bit too tired to think about this, honestly. We would have to look at where these instructions are coming from. Like if I remembered Soding's cropper, what was it called? This one. This is a fork, yeah. And I looked at this code a while ago. Like, can we put, the question is, can we put casts in here? How hard it would be to make the compiler WASM32 compatible? Very hard, I think. Like in the general case, very hard. Because it would mean that the pointer size changes. And one of the simplifications that Jai did deliberately to keep the complexity down in the compiler is that pointers are 8 bytes, period. Like we don't special case on pointer size, which is the same reason why we don't support 32-bit, like any 32-bit targets right now. You can retrofit this. It's just a pain in the rear. It's not very hard is the wrong word. It's a lot of effort. Like it requires a lot of elbow grease to go through everything in the compiler that assumes 64-bit and makes all of that also work on 32-bit. Also, like it disallows certain techniques, but that's less of an issue. But then, I mean, we already got rid of 64-bit assembly anyways for WASM, so that's not a thing, but the assembler as well assumes 64-bit assembly. So targeting x86 is even more work than targeting WASM32. Yeah, exactly. Like, if 32-bit support comes, then WASM32 is going to be easy. I'm not going to do 32-bit support for WASM32. I don't think so. Like, I heard that the timeline for WASM64 was not looking good. That was the last time I looked. Is memory 64? Is that... I think that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know what WASM is. I don't care about it. So they have it behind the flag. The question is... I think I looked at the Chrome ticket for... Like, again, it's been pretty much half a year. But I looked at the Chrome ticket for memory 64. And it was like... it didn't look good. So right now it seems like, okay, if you're not targeting Safari, you're fine. Timeline update. I think that's the one I saw. Yeah, I think this is the one I looked at. But I guess things moved forward since then. Spam. So there's seems to be one open issue. Sandbox memory size. That's still, like, that's been dead for 6 months. But the good news is there's just one open issue. No, it's implemented in Chrome. That's not the same as they are able to ship it. Yeah, it's still a shame. Like, we can now target WASM 64, but not really WASM 32, which means you can't really use it, which is... I mean, you can use it for your experiments, but you can't ship anything to people. I mean, since Safari seems to don't implement memory 64 at all, like, you can't ship anything to people in the foreseeable future. Not to the general audience, I mean, like, if you say, hey, you have to use Chrome to play my game, whatever. But if you want to do anything more generic... No, it's not... Look. Usage relative. Safari currently has 5.4% of the global usage. And that's not, if you add Safari on iOS, you're talking about 20% of the code base, of the user base. You have 13.5 here plus 5.5 here. Like, you have 19% of the code base that you're throwing away if you say, oh no, I don't care about Safari. Like, 20% is significant. It's not like Opera or something, where you can say, okay, 1.8%, I can, like if you do any commercial endeavor, throwing away 20% of your market is not a good idea. Okay. So how do we wrap a bow around this one? So this one is a good idea. This is actually not quite, I'm not sure if we should add Android here. Because it is not necessarily System 5, as we saw on the link that someone posted somewhere. Where is it? Here. Like if you target this one, then yes. I think it was down there, right? It doesn't really say. I'm a bit surprised here because they don't reference the calling convention. So does this imply a calling convention? You know, I don't see anything about the calling convention here. Okay, so ARM has its own. Again, I know nothing about ARM. This is all no. I'm too tired for this. Sorry, like I can't keep a straight thought. You can ignore Android. Yeah, this one, yes, but you can probably also ignore this one. But what's the... I don't know enough. My problem is I don't know enough about ARM. Like clearly, or not clearly, but it seems like our iOS uses the, like our test here made it seem like either iOS uses the System 5 ABI on ARM, or the System 5 ABI and the ARM ABI are so close that we were able to pass a string by happy accident. But I'm not quite sure. So I don't want to commit this part unless we're sure that Android is actually a System 5 thing. You know what? No, let's do it different. just gonna take this one, put it here, and if I'm less tired at some point, I can look at this. For now, I'm pretending that Android is System 5. It's probably wrong, but it's definitely not Windows, so we're just different wrong now. And at least it's documented that we're probably wrong. Okay. Rust compiles to WASM. Yeah, so what? Okay. So how do we wrap our bow around this? Do we ship these WASM changes? I don't love them, especially not in preload and runtime support. But if we don't ship them, then everyone needs to shim these methods. If we ship them, I have the feeling that we should also ship something that compiles to WASM, which means incorporating Patrick's plugin to some extent. What do we call these functions? Environment, right? Yeah, like if we bundle the JWASM plugin as a module, we definitely, I definitely would throw away the why is this still here? We're so bad. Okay. I would definitely throw away the tools part because you can't use it right now. And it's just a binary from some random repo that someone hacked together. Like someone is solding, but still, like I wouldn't ship this because it's not usable. I would, if we do that, I would have to make sure that people know where Valok is coming from. But apart from that, like we could turn this into a plugin that we ship. We could at least provide an example. Like maybe not provide it as a module, but at least as an example. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. But right now it's pretty. We need some more comments in here, I guess, but it looks like there's nothing weird in here anymore, except for the WASM stuff. The WASM 32 stuff, I mean, except for the WASM stuff. Man, I'm tired. And we can turn the iOS into an example, the iOS stuff into an example as well. If we do that, I'd love to turn it into something that you can compile and run from Jai, but that's a lot more work. If we just ship an Xcode workspace, there's so much crap in there. Like I'd rather have it like the, if you look to, where would we find this? Can I get a .nib, please? No. Yeah. So here you have something. You have an application that runs from Jai. It defines the delegate in Jai, etc., etc. And then you just have a nib. That's basically pre-assembled. Nib is stupid because it's binary. I want to have the xib in here and compile it to a nib as part of the meta program. I'm doing that for a different project of mine. So if we ship an iOS example, it would be nice to have that, where you have your app delegate in Jai, and then you compile something. Then again, if you do everything in Jai, you don't need. Well, you do. Like we could try showing how to compile a complete Jai program for iOS. It's probably more work. So maybe we ship the iOS example for now as an example. I don't know. I'm too tired. I'm going to stop the stream here. I'm going to work a bit on that in the evening to just make this nice. I'm just not sure what parts we should ship with the compiler. We now ship some capabilities with the compiler, but we don't ship anything actionable. I'd like to add that, but I have to think about it. But I'm seriously too tired. Let's stop here. Thanks for your help, Patrick. This has been fun, at least for me. We have something that runs, but only behind the feature flag, which sucks. Like, this makes me sad. I was like, oh, awesome. Why do we get the unreachable again? Signature mismatch malloc. Okay, so maybe we undo our changes a bit, huh? So this was good. This was good. This was not good. Let's recompile this for a second. Just make sure that I didn't break it. Okay, good. That works. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do about WASM 32. I will have to look into Zoding's hack and see if we can add something that autocasts we would have to have something that like truncates. No, I think I looked into that initially and decided that it's not feasible in a general case. But maybe I was wrong. But I'm too tired for that today. So thanks for coming by. Let's find someone nice to raid. We didn't get any raids today, right? Yesterday we got 2 or 3, but today nothing. Let's see who's here. Tim is added as always. Any preferences, people? Anyone we should raid? Who deserves a raid? Leave me alone. That's probably a no. Yeah, he's nice. I know. Like, he rarely does anything. Like, he has very nice stories, etc. I just have never seen him work on anything that's not a text file. But he seems to be a very interesting guy. I rated him a couple of times. But let's rate someone small. Who's not a furry? But I don't see anything interesting. Java Enterprise Edition. People are still... That's a joke, right? Are people still using that? Wow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna ask John about the WASM stuff. Like, he's gonna have an opinion, and I want to get his opinion before I ship anything WASM related or WASM plugin related. Especially, like, the 64-bit situation annoys me that it's still, like, if some browsers had shipped WASM 64 support, I'd be happy. But if no browser has it, be like without a feature flag, it sucks a bit. Yeah, I see no. Let's just rate Tim. I can't see anyone small that excites me. So thanks for coming by. We made progress. We made good progress. At least it feels to me like that. So I think the next beta, like, it definitely already ships with something that helps with WASM and ARM. I want to ship something like an example with it, but I don't know yet what that's going to be. So thanks for coming by. I can't talk anymore. I'm too tired. Bye, guys.
You don't have a type in